Toxic fandoms are making the internet worse, and not even Critical Role is safe.
Oh no, not again.
Last week, Naughty Dog released a documentary on The Last of Us Part 2. Now, in this documentary, Laura Bailey, who spoke about playing Abby, the secondary protagonist of the game, who controversially killed Joel during the course of the plot of that game. Players didn't actually have a choice on whether or not Abby killed Joel. Now, in the documentary, Bailey talked about the abuse she received for voicing the character and portraying her via mocap, and noted that the abuse extended to death threats against her family, which of course is unconscionable and totally unacceptable in every way, shape, or form.
The worst of it, the really hardcore death threats got passed along, and they, made sure that they weren't anyone that lived close by. Yeah, they were threatening my son, who was born during all of it, and it was rough. It was rough. But, more than anything, it just taught me to keep a distance,
Now, Bailey mentioned that this abuse taught her to keep a distance from the public, which of course is perfectly understandable and a totally reasonable reaction. Now, while the abuse directed at Bailey was focused on a video game, it is a good reminder about the issues faced by the Critical Role cast and frankly anyone who makes content on this here internet. The cast of Critical Role have faced similar issues, literally since the show launched, and while it's nice to pretend that the fan base has become more supportive or understanding over the years as it's grown, we know that even recently Ashley Johnson has spoken out on stream about people constantly reaching out to tell her how to play her character Fern when she hasn't asked for or wanted their feedback. That's despite the fact that there have literally been years of the cast telling people not to do that, and they do it anyways.
I'm gonna do. Don't fucking at me. I'm gonna do. So no, I'm playing my game. I am gonna do a 3rd level in Rogue.
Hell yeah, I love it.
And I am gonna do Arcane Trickster.
Okay.
Which I know is hilarious because my intelligence isn't very high, but I have reasons.
I love it.
So leave me alone.
And there can be narrative reasons as well, which I love. Great.
After
Awesome. So
almost 9 years of playing this game on the internet, we're like, shut up!
Now, some of this is the increasingly toxic element of the internet. Let's face it, most platforms have shoddy systems in place to block this kind of toxic discourse that can either be overwhelmed by sheer brute force or doesn't actually fix the underlying problem of people making these comments or even worse, threats in the first place. But like we mentioned before, this has been part of Critical Role since the beginning, and most of the cast has talked about some of the frankly icky stuff they've had to deal with, and that's not even including guest stars who have been fixated on by certain parts of the fan and for just appearing on the show for a couple of episodes. People have received crazy amounts of hatred and vitriol just for appearing on the show for a couple of episodes and trying to have fun with their real life friends. Now, while Laura Bailey or Ashley Johnson probably can, to some extent, tune out the commentary because Critical Role is such a juggernaut, and, we will point out that Laura Bailey, she saw those death threats. She saw them despite the fact that all the filtering and all the things that, celebrities do to try to keep themselves, distanced from parts of their fans. Keep in mind, smaller creators, they don't have any of those walls set up. It wasn't that long ago that JoCat got pushed off the internet for a continuous barrage of hate related to a fun-natured parody video that he released years ago. Nutbags pushed someone who made delightful content off the internet simply because they knew they could bully someone incessantly without stopping and without consequence. All of this really just serves as a good reminder to remember that the folks who make this content, even us, the folks who make the character sheet, we're people with feelings and lives outside of the actual act of making content. Creative decisions never deserve threats or hatred, and social media doesn't exist so that you can give feedback directly to the creators involved, unless, of course, they ask for it. And even then, still be polite.
Manners maketh man.
And also, respect folks, first and foremost. You know, remember that the online account you're interacting with probably is a person. There is somebody real behind that. And that the folks that appear on your TV, they're people too. Now, toxic fandoms and parasocial relationships, you know, they can really serve to ruin some of the best stuff that our community has to offer. And we all need to do our part to keep fandoms healthy and safe for everyone. It takes everyone to help police this sort of stuff and make this a thing that we all can enjoy. Anyways, that is our rant to start off the week. I guess leave your comments, but only if they're respectful. And also, like and subscribe.